going on? Joe Coffey here for PremierGuitar.com. We're at the LA Amp Show checking out X30 amps. I've got Mike Koski with me here. Mike, how you doing? Good. Mike is from our neck of the woods, and we're familiar with his stuff. I got to hear some prototypes. You even had your amp at our Premier Guitar parties. So a well-liked amp by the staff here. But now we're going to do a demo. Everyone in the rest of the world gets to hear it now. Mike, tell me about what we're going to be listening to here today.
What are we We're plugged into a 30 watt that is called the Piper X30. It is a 2-channel amp.
How many watts?
About 30.
This sucker can growl. But before we get into that, let's talk about the look. I mean, just from a glance, automatically, you've got a different thing going on here.
It really just comes down to the fact that I really didn't want to build a black box that looked like everybody else's black box out there. You know, really, I just wanted to elevate amplifiers to the level that I really believe they should be, and how important they are in playing, you know, creating good tone.
And can we flip one of these around backwards? I remember you had the inside finished, you had grain matched up. I mean, there's a lot going on. There's a bar of exotic wood, or maybe we ought to just walk around, because there's a lot going on here that you really need to take in. That's all about what you do, right? So tell me about some of the appointments here.
The appointment, it's really a form and function kind of thing. There's really nothing on here that is strictly just for aesthetic purposes. It just so happens that good design is actually, you know, smart as well, which is kind of cool. Everything on here, you know, has been designed from the ground up, so it's not off-the-shelf components and you know, so similar to everything else that it's out there. You know, from the leather handles, which feel really good. They smell good. You know, they're made by hand by El Dorado, which is really cool. It took me a while to convince him to do it, but he's making me handles now. And you know, the covering is actually a woven vinyl. It's not a Tolex, so it might look delicate, but it's actually really tough, and it doesn't stain up. You can actually clean it really well.
Cool.
You know, every part and piece on the entire amplifier has actually been evaluated, and if I can get rid of it, I get rid of it. So it's been an exercise in minimalism. So if I can get rid of any nut, screw, bolt, whatever, you're going to see that go away. You know, like the standard control panel is just a solid piece of aluminum that's been machined out and threaded, so I don't have, you know, all those obnoxious nuts on the top and everything. It ends up giving you a really clean appearance, and at the same time it looks kind of pretty too. So
now the Piper, what kind of tubes?
Those are EL84s, and that one actually, that has 2 channels along with the buffered effects loop. The front end of it's all 12 AX7s. This is actually the X30, which is 50 watts, and this one uses 34s. That is really its own thing altogether, from how the power section is put together to what the preamp is as well. So I'm still trying to formulate in my mind what to really call that and how to describe it. So it's cool though.
All right, so before we fire up the Piper, let's talk about what we're listening to through. Lance Keltner, our demo guy here. First of all, tell me about this guitar and the pickups.
I don't know anything about this guitar. It doesn't belong to me.
Okay, what's going on with this guitar and these pickups?
They're stock pickups made at Stefan DePergo's shop in New Hampshire. Yeah, he builds them.
Okay, cool.
Vintage style Strat pickups.
Vintage Strat single coils. And the speakers inside here, what are we listening to? No, you have your own thing with that, right?
They're sort of my own thing. I mean, I'm using them. They're not like whatever, but really they're this guy's thing. This guy builds all the speakers, and like I was telling you, he is, and also he's a great mic stand. He is in my opinion, the untouchable master of, you know, loudspeakers for the type of stuff that I do. I mean, he still blows me away.
Well, it's great that he's here. So take a moment. Tell us about the speakers we have.
Sure. The speakers, hang on a second, I can't hear myself talk. There we go. There's a speaker we developed along the lines of the old Celestion Pulsonics cones of the late 60s. And we have figured out how to do a cone and a cone formula that is essentially vintage right out of the box. No cone cry, no speaker break-in, they're ready to go. Each one is handmade, and we take a lot of pride in what we've accomplished, and we really appreciate Mike being our first major amp manufacturer that's been on board with this unit.
Cool. So how's that for anticipation? Now we get to hear this thing. So go ahead. What are we gonna listen to first?
We're going to listen to Lance Keltner.
That thing really spanks, man. As far as some other things we can do with it, do you want to take us to another kind of setting and have us listen to that?
Sure, let's go to another setting.
So that was channel 1.
That was actually channel 2.
That was channel 2.
Which is,
I was about to say, Jesus Christ, everybody hold on.
that's the hot channel. This would be the cool channel. So this would be good.
Very cool. Before I let you go, Mike, what else do you want people to know about X30 amps? I know you've got some pretty solid, putting them on the spot. You've got some solid components in there. It's not your everyday, ordinary amp. That's the whole point. Right?
Wow, what do I want people to know? There's a lot of heart in these things. That's all I really want people to know. I've literally put myself into these things beyond what is natural or healthy, and I think I'm getting somewhere with it. So my goal is to create something that brings enjoyment and complements different musician styles. And through listening to different people today, from thrashers to country guys to really quick jazz guys, I'm blown away at how my amps don't sound like an X30 amp. It's like you go, wow, that sounds like an X30. It sounds like the player, and to me that means that I'm doing something right, which is really cool. And that's coming from like a total Britpop punk guy. I'm just like going, wow, this is cool. These can do all this stuff too. So.
Lots of sound clips on the website, right?
Yeah, lots of sound clips on the website, and there's even more sound clips at Guitar 25. Lance does a lot better job putting sound clips up than I do, and they usually work too, whereas on my site, a lot of times people go, your clips don't work. And I'm like, oh, I gotta figure this out. So, there's YouTube videos too, which actually are my 15-watt SADI, cool. Which is pretty awesome as well. So.
Okay, and the web address is?
XITS-sound.com.
All right, so Mike, what is this one here?
This is the X50, which is a 2-channel amp that uses EL34s instead of EL84s. So, yeah, it's like a departure for me. It's different tubes. Weird.
Lance, hit it. Cool. There you have it. X30 amps. I'm Joe Coffey, and you are watching PremierGuitar.com.